You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network. Good morning, everyone. We are in the midst of our fall weather finally. And I think this is the time of year when people start reflecting heavily on how the remaining part of their year is going to be spent. The things that they're going to focus on as they prepare for their holidays. And if you're also a business owner, you're also probably doing some evaluations of what can stay, go, or remain, right, in the cusp of your goal setting. And actively, as individuals, I feel like we are always kind of balancing this momentum of thought based upon either things that we're looking to do, past experiences, and just current situations, right? So we kind of in this balance of all aspects at all times, navigating our way through life. And for me, I feel like majority of us have had experiences that have come to influence sometimes the way we move currently, or our deciding factors of how certain things may be considered. Which is why I think today's conversation is a good mechanism to jar some important things in our lives that we need to recognize how past experiences shape our futures, right? And I'm pretty sure if you've had an opportunity to do life long enough, you may have had experiences with your family, with friends, with coworkers, with strangers, social settings. And those interactions is a lot of times how we begin to move and navigate, how we interact with people. And the reality is that we can actually take those moments and either look at them just totally negatively, or we can look at them as a way of saying, okay, this was an experience. What did I get from that? And whether it was good or bad, what do I need to know in the midst of that that's going to help me on my journey as I navigate life? So guys, I think this is a great conversation to have. And this is what we're going to talk about today. So you guys, you know what time it is. It's Monday and it's time for Sonny's Monday Motivation. Let's go. Welcome to Loudmouth Radio Network. My name is Sonny. As a former professional athlete turned entrepreneur realtor and the producer of Loudmouth Radio Network, I look forward to bringing content to you that empowers, inspires, and entertains you. Tune in each week as we have unscripted and unfiltered talks from entrepreneurship, real estate, politics, entertainment, comedy, LGBTQ topics, day-to-day life, and everything in between. All shows available on demand 24/7 on your favorite podcast platforms.
Here at Wonderland Learning Center, we're located at 288 East Main Street in San Jacinto. We provide a safe and secure learning environment. We are now enrolling 2 to 5-year-olds with our preschool curriculum. We offer before and after school care. Breakfast, lunch, and snacks are provided. We accept all programs. We are open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Our website is wonderlandlearningcenter.com.
Portals Entertainment Center is a new 13,000 square foot entertainment experience now open in Temecula. Portals creates a space where your imagination can be set free. Step into an immersive entertainment center that will take visitors into one of our many attractions, which include 2 9-hole indoor mini golf courses, an immersive laser tag arena, a designated arcade space, a food service component, party and event spaces, and a hidden 21 and over lounge. Portals aims to give each visitor a unique experience, taking them to unknown worlds and experiencing an entertainment center like no other. Open 7 days a week, located at 26469 Inez Road in Temecula, California, in between At Home and Temecula Theaters. Come check us out and step into adventure.
I love how the universe just be smiling with me at times, because a lot of times I'll shape the conversation or what I'm going to talk about, what helps me formulate the topic and the title of the show. And every now and again, especially when I have something like this type of conversation, I may just take a look go online and search based on the topic that I've already titled the conversation and see what comes up. And lo and behold, a article came up in Forbes magazine, and it is from a leadership category dynamic. And this article was published last year, July, How Overcoming Your Past Helps Shape Your Future. And so there's a lot of dialogue about various different things. And of course, this is coming from a leadership perspective. And this is actually Forbes Women category that the writer that contributed this article centered her conversation around. And so I'm not going to read the whole article or anything like that, but I do want to touch on some things. And I will put a link in today's show for you guys to check it out. But interesting enough, the first thing that she says in this article by Heather Cherry is, your past does not define your future, but it certainly helps to shape it, whether consciously or subconsciously. This is because we often get hung up on things that didn't come to fruition, happen precisely as intended, or miss opportunities. Brianna Wiest, author of The Mountain Is You, says, what isn't right for you will never remain in your life. There's no job, person, or city that you can force to be right for you if it is not, even though you can pretend for a while. You can say you'll try just a little longer. You can make excuses for why things aren't working out right now. But what is right will come to you, stay with you, and won't stray from you for long. And trying to make something work that isn't exactly right doesn't benefit you. When you try to force things that aren't right, you get split, breeding an internal conflict you can't resolve. It intensifies, and in many cases, this is mistaken for passion. Guys, when I tell you, as I even read that, and there's still a lot more of the body of the work of that article, but I'm not going to go that far just yet. Just on what I just read to you, let me tell you what's interesting. Oh, my coffee's good this morning. What is so important about what I just said is that parallelism does not exist only in a framework of business, leadership, but it exists with relationships. It exists with home life. It can exist with your dynamics of relationships with friends or family. It can also transform itself in regards to your business, right? It can be decision making for your children. It can be your own decision making on things that maybe you want to set out to do, or maybe it's been a job you've been working and you're not elevating, you're not getting anywhere, you're not, and it just really depends on where you feel and sit with your interactions are in all of these dynamics. Because if you're comfortable with where you are, if it's something that's okay for you, then you may decide to settle into that for a period of time, right? And in that settlement is a decision based upon, once again, what you have consciously or subconsciously decided to partake in. So what was amazing to me as I was reading, part of this is that the first message is that we can get hung up on things that didn't come to fruition, and we can also become frustrated because we may say, oh, I was a missed opportunity, or this is what I intended and it didn't happen that way. Can I tell you guys, I had this exact measurement of activity going on over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And I really felt myself reeling on this cycle. I felt like I was on an exercise bike, and a stationary exercise bike, and I was just cycling. And sometimes when you're a driver for things that you're going after, it's natural for you to be very focused on it, very pushed and very driven for those things to happen. And so because of that, it could lead you down a path very easily that can become stressful. Because if the things that are the dynamics that you decide that you want for this situation or outcome to be, and they're not aligning necessarily. Now, this is the thing. Sometimes you may need to pivot. Sometimes you may need to pause. Sometimes you need to pursue. Ooh, I like that. That's a whole nother conversation, y'all. Again, pivot. Y'all see how I have to be writing stuff down? Sometimes you have to pivot. I have to record. I have to make my notes on that again. Okay, that was good. But seriously, when you're in the midst of things, only you can know what that looks like for you, right? So if there's certain dynamics that are moving and certain other things that are not tying in, sometimes you may need to stop and reevaluate it, right? Sometimes you may need to just stop altogether. Then there are times that you may need to maybe have a different objective of have an open mind as to what, and this is where I think sometimes the intersection of faith and prayer also can definitely stand in the process. Because sometimes there's things that are, you're not to say that you're not on the right track, but maybe the way you're trying to go about it, or you've kind of created in your mind that it's going to happen in this one dynamic. And because you have become hell bent on that one way, then it doesn't manifest itself in the way in which you desire, which is what I just read in regards to that feeling of being hung up on things as it pertains to not coming into fruition. Well, not necessarily, maybe because you're being so hell bent on one way. So this is where you'll have your believers and faith walkers that'll say, listen, if you believe it's for you and you have faith, you'll release the desire, and you'll allow the universe to show and allow God's presence to intersect for you, or to bring that dynamic into place. And then the other thing is, you can't pray about it, pick it up, pray about it, pick it up, and expect that you're really moving forth any of the energies that we have the ability to. So there's so many elements in this that I find in this one part of this conversation that has such a significance, and it really can challenge your mindset. It can really challenge your faith. It can sometimes make you peel back things that you don't recognize until you take the time out to stop and look. Because on one side, if you're looking at it from one perspective, this is not happening, I'm trying to make it happen, and I'm gonna kick the door down, and okay, you could approach it that way. But also remember that the force that you may be pushing out and forward, don't be surprised the force that it comes back on you from the way that you pushed it out. Right? It's like a boomerang, right? So what I feel that many of us can take in these type of situations is that sometimes there's certain elements of our desires that are the truth of why we're positioning ourselves to do what we're doing, or to aim for where we're aiming. And we can sometimes put other framework around it, excuses, reasons, justifications, and say, oh yeah, I needed to do this because he, she, they, them, In reality, it's not any of that. In reality, you just may want to have a car, right? And you want to have a car that's dependable enough to get you back and forth. But it does not mean that you want a piece of junk, right? If you want a brand new car, it's okay to desire a brand new car. But what is the work that you're going to do to put you in position to get the car, right? If you're involving other people who are not on the same walk with you, then those level of frustrations can enter. And those sensibilities that they have in regards to your desires may not be the same connections of what you desire. So then this tug of war feeling is happening. That internal conflict that the lady was saying in the article can happen. And then it breeds that internal conflict, and you really can't resolve it, because in reality, you got all of these different things that are summing up the reasons as to why things aren't going. But in reality, did you pile too many things into the part of it? Or did you just become so focused on one way that you didn't leave yourself open enough to say, okay, if this is for me, I'm going to trust that I'm going to do what I can do and trust the control of what I have, and also put it out there in the universe. And then also have the resolve and the patience enough to understand that it may not have taken you 5 minutes to get to this desire. It could be years of accumulation of things that have happened that have patterned themselves to say, wow, I want to do something different. I want a different relationship. I want my marriage to be different. I want my relationship with my kids to be different. I want my relationship with my siblings to be different. I want the relationship between me and my coworkers, my job, my business, my social, my social interactions. Maybe I want to go to a networking event and not feel so shy or introverted, and I can't speak to somebody so I can let them know what I want to do, and I very much want to know what they want to do. So guys, when I tell you, there's so many elements of how we exist. And the beautiful thing is that we really and truly have the center of control of how we can present ourselves, right? And the truth of the matter is, a lot of our past experiences are shaping how we view our future, right? And I'm not saying that you should just go from a provoked anger position because somebody wronged you, and now everybody that approaches you in regards to this particular thing, you just gonna run them over and shut them down, right? But in that whole capacity, what was our participation? How did we move? What decisions did we make? And in our decision making, and our energy and our attitudes, did that affect the other person? Did it affect the other situation to where it may have also caused what our experience was to become what it became? So I do think that when you have had enough experiences about certain things, there's like this catalog, like a file that kind of resonates in your framework of your brain. And it kind of catalogs those things that have happened to where you can maybe reach back and say, you know what, I can remember when I had to do this, and the decisions I made at that time for this was not necessarily the best, right? Our brains are so incredibly powerful, guys, and we hold and take in so much. And if we really learn to trust in within ourselves that we are embodied what it is that we desire to have, we're part of that compartmented aspect of what our desires are, right? So when we can actually look at our own files of what we've experienced or done, it gives us another level of leadership ability within our own selves to make better decisions or to make new pathways, right? Because you could have had an experience where you've done something before and you may have been accomplished in it. It may have been heavily challenging, but you may have accomplished it and did well, or it may have beat you down. It may have bankrupted you. It may have disseminated certain things. But whatever that experience was for you, it's going to help to give you an aspect of thought of how you would approach things in the future. It just is. So the way we look at those things and the way we approach the way we do our futuristic things that we desire to do can definitely become a better outcome than what our past experiences if we use them in a proactive way, right? If we shut down, if we get defensive about the decisions or things that we've done, and people can't approach you and they can't talk to you about it or they have a real conversation, that's not helping you. That's definitely not giving you any type of camaraderie with the person you're dealing with or talking to or inviting into the situation. So sometimes we got to have ownership of our own experiences and how we allowed ourselves to move in the course of them. Because of that, it will also determine how you make more decisions going forward. What can you capacitate? What can you actually do? Because sometimes we might take on things that are so much for us that it'll give us a strength like no other. It'll give us that adversary muscle, as I say. But guys, I don't feel like you want to always have things happen or have experiences that are always computed to challenges, right? Let me say that because, we'll say certain things as a society. Oh, I want to work hard. But in reality, think about what you just said. Do you really want to work hard? Because if you really worked hard, you know what that looks like and feels like, and you know what it does. But in reality, when you've sunk into something and you've become so involved and incorporated in it and you're aligned with it, the hard work of it happens in the course of your, not hard work, that's not even the word, but it's like you become so enthralled in it that you don't necessarily see always the time of what it took. You don't see what it's taken for you to get it done, but you're so involved in it that you've meshed into the walk of it. Then for those who are looking around, they're like, man, Sonny be working hard in it. But in reality, yeah, I'm working diligently. I'm consistently working. I'm doing what I need to do, but I'm really focused. And in my focusedness of it, in my pathway of walking it, in my commitment to it, my drive of it starts to also vibrate and levitate and magnetize certain things, certain people, opportunities. They'll start aligning to it, right? So I know for sure that there's certain things I've done before 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 35 years ago that I necessarily won't do now, right? That's the beauty of it. There may have been some things that I sought after, didn't see it, didn't go all the way through with it. And like the article said, maybe it wasn't time for it. Maybe I had to pivot. Maybe I had to pause it, right? And now maybe there's certain things, maturity, experiences, finances, skills. You know, sometimes we don't even have enough skill for certain things that we're trying to take on. And you have to be honest with yourself about that. And if you know that you're lacking a skill in certain areas of what you desire to do, either one, you go and work towards getting them, or you partner up, collaborate, hire, to do something that ties in that gap of what you don't have, right? Because guess what? That's going to shape your future interactions to look differently than what you did in the past. Because I know notoriously what it feels like to be trying to do everything. And, you know, most people don't want to just do everything. But if you've had experiences like most of us have had, there are times when you may have involved other people and they weren't equipped or they weren't aligned perfectly to make whatever you were doing to work. Right. And so we have this natural instinct to try to take it on our own. Right. But I do believe that the intersection of opportunity, the intersection of manifestation, the intersection of alignment will start to put those people into position, those things that you may need, opportunities that you would have never actually had, and they start showing up. So all of those things are constantly happening for each and every one of us. But it's like, what is our consciousness of the whole? Are you paying attention to your own movement to why it could determine whether or not you get the outcome that you desire, or that you are achieving what you desire, or you're existing within what you desire, right? That's another thing. Sometimes people have this thing about dreaming, right? You can dream all day, but are you working within the dream itself to bring it into fruition, or are you looking for other people to put it in position for it to happen? So the way that looks, one probably will be so far out that it will not come into fruition. The other is definitely a better opportunity, because, you know, in the end of the day, guys, nobody has this full capability of saying that this is going to happen. There's not a remote control that just automatically gives you 0.1 to 0.12 destiny points. Now you can work and live that way when you're doing point to point to point to point, but there's no one that can just give this future crystal ball and say that you do it this way all the way through, this is going to happen. So all of us are in the pursuit of our desires and of our desires of our experiences, right? Excuse me. And so because of that, you have to learn to live in the moment. You have to make every moment count. You have to work to create your own happiness. You have to remember to breathe. You have to remember to follow what your heart and mind. And sometimes the mind is right. Sometimes the heart has instincts, and you have to be able to have the remote control of opportunity of what that looks like. Right. So as we work to master our greatest selves, because that's what we are really doing. We're really just trying to master the best parts of ourselves. And when you're feeling yourself and the better parts of yourself showing up, you're happier. The stress levels of what life can be are not as intense in the same way as they were when you're definitely underneath everything, right? So I believe if we can just continue to work in our best self framework. And I know that we don't always get it right. And this is why day to day, you're given another day of opportunity. It's a blessing. And it's another opportunity for you to reach for those things that you desire. But also keep record, keep a log of how you're moving in this life and how you're moving with people and how you're treating them and how they're interacting with you. Because I guarantee you, the all of this energy space that we're taking up, it is building up and cycling into a bigger combustion of experiences that are unfolding in real time in our lives as we speak. I know for sure there were times that I could have made a better decision of how maybe I interacted with something. And then after the fact, I was like, man, I know I could have did something better. I could have said this, or I could have maybe not done that, or I could have done this, right? Instead of living in that moment of making it regretful, take it as an opportunity to converge, put it into your kitty box, make it be part of the things to say, you know what, Sonny, the next time around, you'll know better. Don't overcommit yourself to something that you know was too much for you when it was approached to you. Don't try to bite off a whole bunch at one time when you need to do this and this and this first, right? 2, maybe you need to wait and it not be done at all at this time. And not to say it can't be done at all, but maybe it's just not the time. So it's just things like that, guys, that's constantly happening. And I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not speaking to an empty room, even though I'm sitting in my studio and it's an empty room as far as people. But I know my listeners that are going to tune into this. I really hope that you're starting to trust to listen to your own inner voice of what you know best to be, because we do have that ability to go within. And if we go within more and really take the time to recognize what we feel in regards to things, I think we'll come out with better decisions. So, guys, I want to bid y'all farewell, and I hope that you have a fantastic Monday and the rest of the week. And I'll holler at y'all later. Peace. Performing comedy is like creating magic. To hear the room explode with laughter is priceless. And to produce comedy is like having a glass of Stella Rosa, the ability to have others wind down with laughter. With Loudmouth Comedy, it isn't just about me, Sonny. It's also the many hardworking comedians that are dedicated to writing and performing night after night, stage after stage, displaying their talents to the world, and we all do it for the love of comedy. Sometimes you have to remember to relax and savor the moment one sip at a time. Cheers. Here's to 13 years of Loudmouth Comedy.
Hello, my name is Takasha Smith. I'm the owner of Takasha's Kitchen, based out of Menifee in the Southern California area. As a chef and caterer, I provide private cooking classes, couples dinners, and private parties. As a female pitmaster, I am able to create a personalized experience for your family reunion gatherings. I create menus based on my clients' needs to have a more personal vibe. You can find Takasha's Kitchen on all social media networks such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and my YouTube channel at Takasha's Kitchen. And that's spelled TACASHAS Kitchen, KITCHEN.
You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.